Daniel is a book unlike any other in the Old Testament. It has the combination of narratives and prophecies. And there are some very intriguing passages there that people have interpreted as referring to far future kinds of situations. The Four Kingdoms passages, chapter 2 and chapter 7, are among those. The identification of the four kingdoms has absorbed a lot of attention over the years. Probably most common in Christian traditions is the idea that Kingdom 1 was the Babylonians, Kingdom 2 was the Medo-Persians, Kingdom 3 was the Greeks, and Kingdom 4 the Romans. And so all of the imagery in chapter 2 with the statue of the different metals, and in chapter 7 with the animals, the various creatures and their characteristics, all of them are interpreted in ways to reflect those four kingdoms. An alternative interpretation has suggested that Babylon is Kingdom 1, and by the way, that is explicit in the text where Daniel tells Nebuchadnezzar that he is the head of gold, so he is the first kingdom. But then instead of the Medo-Persian for number 2, this suggests that it's the Medes independently. Before it was the Medo-Persian Empire, it would be number 2. The Persian, Medo-Persian, would be Empire 3, and the Greek would be Empire 4. And this sorts things out a different way. Again, then that particular interpretation will look at the metals and will look at the creatures in chapter 7 and give variant interpretations of them. The difficulty with this approach to Daniel and the identification of the four kingdoms is that it's seeking to identify something that the Bible never tells us. That is, Daniel doesn't know who the four kingdoms are, and nobody in the rest of the biblical text through Old Testament and New Testament ever tells us who the four kingdoms are. No authoritative voice answers that for us. The very nature of fulfillment in the Old Testament is somewhat difficult to deal with because unless the Bible tells us what the fulfillment is, all we can do is guess. And our guesses don't really mean very much. After all, our guesses are not authoritative. And we can bring all the information that we want to try to support a particular interpretation, but in the end, it doesn't matter. When you read Daniel chapters 2 and 7 to think about what the message of the prophecy is, it's very clear. The message of the prophecy is stated that the kingdom of God is not coming imminently for Daniel, but that there are going to be four empires that will come and go across the stage of history. But then after that, the kingdom of God will come and last forever. That's the hope that Daniel's audience needs. It doesn't matter what the empires are or who they are. The fact is, God is in control of history, and it is unfolding at his prompting, and the kingdom of God will triumph in the end. This gives us all hope. Biblical prophecy has much more to tell us about God than it has to tell us about the future.